Hi everyone, this is Ed from Demon Speed Motorsports, here to talk to you about one of our products today. That product is our double height jack stands. You can see here on the table, I have them out. The double height jack stands for the 991, 992, 997 Cup cars are sitting here. There's 3 of them. There's 2 for the rears and 1 for the front. They're different sizes, made specifically to the different sizes of the Krontec Air Jacks. This is specifically made for the Porsche GT3 Cup cars. However, we do sell these for any race car that's using the Krontec Air Jacks, either the 50 millimeter or the 60 millimeter and the 230 stroke length. So you can use them for pretty much any car that you might have that has the Krontec Air Jacks. So the question came up, why would you want a set of double height jack stands? Well, you can see that the car right now is up on air jacks. And we can put safety stands under there, and we can pull the wheels and tires off, and we can do some service, we can do some maintenance on it. However, it doesn't really give you a lot of room if there's something that you really need to get under the car to do. So what the double height jack stands allow you to do is pick the car up onto a second stage, so you get a lot more clearance under the car so that you can do some other work that you might need to do either in your shop if you don't have a lift, or out on at the racetrack where you most likely don't have a lift. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take these, and we're going to go through and put them onto the car, lift the car up onto both stages so you can see what that looks like. So now what I'm going to do is very quickly run around and put the first stage in at all the different air jack points. The way that this happens is that you pull that back, the arm back, and the air jack slides in. Now we do have a plastic guide in here that does a couple of things. One is it's a contact point for the air jack, so when you put it onto the air jacks, if it touches as it goes in, it's touching plastic, it's not touching aluminum, it doesn't scar up your air jack. So the way that this is going to work, I'll just run through it real quick before I do this, is you put the first stage in, then you release the air jack, which sets the car down on the top of the first stage of the jack stands. Then you slide this bar in, then you reactivate the air jacks, which lifts the car up higher from this point up, and then we can put our second stage on, and then we'll set the car back down onto that assembly of the 2. So the reason why you still want to set the car back down on the 2 is because the way that we design these is that the foot of the air jack is actually captured in this little cavity here. And so the air jack is still mostly extended, and it helps secure the first stage and the second stage together so that it's more of one member rather than 2 pieces, sitting on top of each other. It makes it a more stable, more sturdy than really any of our competitors. Now I'm going to slide these all in. I'm going to speed up the film so you don't have to sit here and watch me do it. But one specific thing about at least the 991 and the 997 Cup cars is that there's a cross-member piece in there. So when you slide that in, you want to feel that cross-member piece up on top and make sure that the cross-member piece is more or less in line with where this opening is, or else it can actually contact this instead of coming down and hitting the bottom of the car. So just something to be aware of. It's not a problem if you do contact that. It's just better if you don't, especially if you're going up onto the second stage of the jack stands. So the other thing I wanted to mention was with just the first stage under there, if this is what you've got and you're at the racetrack, this makes a great safety stand. So if you need to change the tires, do anything like this, up on air jacks, slide these under, and they're a great safety stand at that point. So let me go ahead and throw these in. Okay, now that I have these in, I'm going to go ahead and release the nitrogen pressure on the car and let the car down onto the first stage of the jack stands. So then I can slide that slider bar in. So I'll do that right away. So there it is. You can hear the air jacks came back up. And now the car is completely just sitting on the first stage of the double height jack stands. Let me go ahead and slide that slider bar in. So when you slide that slider bar in, you want to visually see that the slider bar came all the way through, showing that it's fully engaged in the air jack, so that when we put it up on the second stage, it's sitting comfortably on that bar. Let me grab the hose and run it around the other side. All right, now I've plugged it in. Now, if there's a tricky part, this is it. What you want to do is you want to lift the car gently so as not to make the car hop up onto a second stage. Especially if you've got the Lincoln Motorsports regulator, high flow, like we do have, because the car will hop up. And it's liable to not stay in position on the air jack, which will cause you trouble trying to let it down. So you can either back off the regulator, or you can just turn the valve on slowly and feed in the gas gently. You see the car rocks and rolls a little bit as it goes up onto the first stage right now, and what we're going to do is now I'm going to run around and I'm going to put the second stage in on all the positions. So real quick, before I put the last one in, I want to mention that the way that we've designed these, they nest into each other. Both the ID and the OD, you see there's a groove in here. And the way that this works is it seats into the first stage. So again, just like I was saying before, it helps make it all one member rather than just two pieces sitting on top of each other. That's different than any of our competitors that I've seen do this. Okay, so now it's up on double height jack stands, and I'm going to let the nitrogen pressure out, again slowly. Easy to do on the 991, 992 because it uses this nice Krontec system that has the like a Schrader valve on the inside of it to slowly release. 997 is a little bit more tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this and lower the car down on it. All right, there it is. The car is now completely on the double height jack stands. And you can see just the amazing amount of space now that you have under the car that you can, do whatever you need to do to the car to make sure that you're ready to go out on track. Take a look, do a nut and bolt, whatever needs to happen, there it is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take these off. Been great talking to you. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, we do also make these. Let me just say this too. We do make these for the Air Jacks brand jack stands as well. So if you have Air Jacks jack stands, J-A-X, then we have the double height jack stands for you as well. Give us a call if you've got a special application. You need something a little custom done to these. We've done that many times before. Some of the GT3Rs have 4, and they take a little bit of special tops than what the others have because of the under tray that the car has. We've made special cone-shaped tops for all 4 of those so that it feeds up inside the carbon fiber under tray. But thank you very much. It's been Ed from Demon Speed Motorsports.